A beautiful 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who fled her country in 2022 for safety in Charlotte, North Carolina. On August 22nd this year, Iryna Zarutska was a beautiful 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who fled her country in 2022 for safety in Charlotte, North Carolina. On August 22nd this year, she got on a tram and sat down in front of a black man. 4 minutes later, he stabbed her to death. Here's another view. As you can see, the other blacks in the car didn't lift a finger to help. The tram isn't about to stop. They just quietly decided they'd rather be somewhere else. Thank you very much. The killer is DeCarlos Brown, a 34-year-old vagrant with a criminal record that goes back to 2011. Among his 14 court cases in Charlotte are assault, larceny, trespassing, destruction of property, and armed robbery, for which he did 5 years. He also has a diagnosis of schizophrenia. On January 19th, 7 months before he murdered Iryna Zarutska, he was hauled before Magistrate Teresa Stokes for frivolous police calls or misusing 9/11. She turned him loose without bail, and the conditions of release were that you are ordered to appear before the court on January 21st, that was 2 days later, at 1:30 p.m. You're not supposed to turn loose criminals who are a danger to the community or a flight risk. I think a violent schizophrenic with no address or phone number is both a danger and a flight risk. And sure enough, DeCarlos skipped his court date. Did Magistrate Teresa notice? Did she care? Who is this woman? She has been on the bench only since April 2023, and though she doesn't look much like a judge, she is an accomplished woman. She works at the Community Mental Health Services Authority of Clinton, Ito, and Ingham counties in, believe it or not, Michigan. She is co-owner and director of a drying out clinic called Pinnacle Recovery Services in Lansing, Michigan. She's co-owner of a sports bar, also in Lansing. She has a law degree from Cooley Law School and a Master's of Science in Criminal Justice. And yes, she is magistrate for the state of North Carolina as of 2023. I'd say that when she let DeCarlos walk, she did exactly what she's been trained to do. The cleaning lady would have made a better decision. How did this woman end up on the bench? She was nominated by Clerk of the Superior Court of Mecklenburg County, Eliza Chin Gary, who is also a racial equity organizer and a diversity and inclusion consultant. Clerk Chin Gary was named Diversity Champion by the Mecklenburg County Bar, got a Distinguished Service Award from the Charlotte NAACP and a Spirit Award for honoring the legacy of MLK. But her most rewarding work has been as co-founder and co-chair of the Race Matters for Juvenile Justice, dedicated to children and families of color. This is her second most recent Facebook post called "We Are Magnificent." Her whole page is Black this, Black that, Black me. No surprise she nominated Sister Teresa as magistrate. After the nomination, Teresa had to be approved and appointed by the senior resident Superior Court Judge Carla Archie. She was president of William & Mary's Black Law Student Association. In the legal department at Wells Fargo, she was co-chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. At the North Carolina Education Lottery, she ran the Supplier Diversity Program. She was on the board of the local Black Activist Urban League. She, too, got the Diversity Champion Award from the Mecklenburg County Bar Association. She attends an all-black megachurch called Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, and she's in Alpha Kappa Alpha, an all-black sorority, along with Kamala Harris. I got to her Facebook the very day she took it private, so I found a few cute, candid photos of her, including one in which she traded her judicial robes for something else. Here's a typical post. 60 years ago today, Rosa Parks sat down on that bus so I could sit on the bench today. Here she is with her pal, Eric Holder. Last year, libs of TikTok blasted her for sentencing a black man who shot 5 people to just 20 to 36 months. You can't be much more vehemently black than Carla Archie, and she's the person who appoints magistrate judges. I'd say it's clearly thanks to those ladies that DeCarlos was out and forgotten. Just let the brother enjoy his freedom. There's a lot to say about this case, but big media were mum about it for days. Nancy Pelosi and her pals took a knee for drug addict George Floyd, but don't expect them to shed tears for Miss Zarutska. The Democrat mayor of Charlotte, Viola Lyles, likes to brag that she is Charlotte's first black female mayor. She called the killing a tragedy, not the savage slaughter that it was, and said it sheds light on problems with society's safety nets related to mental health care. No tears for the victim. Someone wrote a Wikipedia article called Killing of Iryna Zarutska, but the editors nominated it for deletion. Iryna wasn't worth an article. When the New York Times finally wrote about her 17 days after she was slashed to death, look at the headline. A gruesome murder in North Carolina ignites a firestorm on the right. You see, after an illegal Venezuelan sexually assaulted and murdered nursing student Laken Riley, Republicans and Donald Trump were so depraved they stoked fears about immigrants. The Times also brushed off the idea that mainstream news outlets downplay crimes committed by black people and proved its even-handedness by reminding us of a white supremacist uprising in 1898 in which at least 60 black men were killed. Instead of making a big deal about this Ukrainian, we must address racial disparities in the justice system, such as black and Hispanic people being overrepresented in the jail population. Well, I'm sure that was precisely Magistrate Stokes' intention when she let DeCarlos walk and forgot about him for 215 days. I don't believe I mentioned that when Carla Archie took over as senior resident judge, she promised us an equitable court system in Mecklenburg County. And that's exactly what we got. People are beginning to notice that you can't talk sense about crime without talking about race. A Fox News program on Iryna highlighted the wildly disproportionate rates of black-on-white violent crime. This is real progress. I've been banging on about the color of crime for 26 years, and it's great to see other people bringing it up. What else might they bring up? Just 4 days after the Zarutska killing, black man Barry West shot 17-year-old Caitlin Straight to death on a Louisiana highway and had the gall to claim he was returning fire. And just last Saturday, black man Harold Dabney stabbed and killed Professor Julie Schnuell of Auburn University so he could steal her Ford F-150. Most people haven't heard of these killings, but are they any less horrible than the death of Iryna Zarutska? No, they are just as horrible. Yesterday, Donald Trump talked about Iryna on a video from the Oval Office. He roared about the depraved criminal element roaming our streets and said, we have to be vicious with them. Yes, Donald. And we have to be vicious with the judges who turn depraved criminals loose. Vicious with the depraved media who couldn't care less about Iryna Zarutska or any other white people snuffed out by their precious blacks with a capital B. And finally, we have to be vicious about the sick national climate of anti-white hate that made a black psychotic think the way out of his troubles was to kill an innocent white girl. The president's video will keep Iryna in the news.